Welcome everyone. You can start.
Come again?
Welcome everyone. We can start.
All right. So, good afternoon, friends. Back to our weekly session of analysis of the week that has been and the week that is expected to be. As we normally do, we'll analyze all the three indexes, the Dow Jones, NASDAQ, and the TSX, starting with the weekly charts, taking it to a day chart, and thereafter taking up any stocks that require analysis from each one of us or from our members on call here. At the outset, let's start with Dow Jones. Dow Jones has closed the day or closed the week so far this week at 32,816.92 or 32,817 on a rounding figure. If you look at the chart very carefully, the chart is clearly talking about a narrow range movement right from mid-October or onwards to date. The range of movement is very clearly seen in a narrow range movement here, right? At this point of time, though the trend, super trend is bullish, but the movement is in a box movement. In the box movement, it becomes very, very difficult to trade, which all our traders across the board will agree to. It becomes quite difficult to trade. Most of the times, our stop losses will get hit very frequently. Right? I'm trying to draw the box if I can. Anyway, not able to draw the box, so later on. So this is the box movement happening over here. Now, this week, the candle has actually closed with a red Marubazu candle. So, and closed towards the lowest portion of the day of the week, which is why I will be expecting the markets to test lower levels of at least another about 700 points lower. 31,450, 31,500 will be a strong support from which the markets would be expected to bounce back. We're talking about almost about 1,300 points lower. But immediately in the week is what I am not expecting it. The box is telling me clearly that 32,400 could be the place from where it will bounce back and again come to a level of approximately at this level, which is at 34,300. So it should move between this levels of 32,500 or 30,400 to a level of 34,300. That movement can be expected. Let's check them out on a daily chart and see if the trend is actually expected or not. The trend has just turned bearish on the day chart. First support resistances can be expected around at this level of super trend levels of 32,200. That's the first support you will expect it at 32,200. Failing which 31,650 and then 31,350 or 31,300. I am still expecting this to hold at 32,300 or 32,400 around this place. It should bounce back. Why are we saying that? Because your CCI is giving you a exhaustion signal of being oversold. MACD is still not, but it is. Bollinger Bands are expanding, opening out So the trend can be on a lower side, which is why 32,200, 32,400 can be seen in this week. Anybody trading, that would be the good time to buy. 32,200, 32,300, a good time to buy for an uptick of immediate target would be 34,200 and above. A 2,000 point run can be expected after it touches 32,200, 32,400. Stop loss, very clearly, low over here is 31,727. So anything at 31,700 is my stop loss. For that, entry at 32,200. It's a 500 point stop loss, but I'm expecting a 2,000 point run up from there thereafter on the Dow Jones. The trend is definitely bearish for immediate short term. It is touching the below lower Bollinger Band, below the 20 moving average. Super trend has turned bearish. So the trend will remain bearish. So it is a sell on rise till it reaches 32,200 or around. That is the time you can start buying it for a very strong stop loss of 31,700 and around for an up target. This was Dow Jones. As compared to this, NASDAQ on weekly has just reversed the trend in the last 3 weeks alone. This is the weekly chart. The trend, downward trend, will now start off because your MACD signal line and MACD line are about to give you a bearish crossover. CCI is anyway curved down. It has moved up from 150 plus to now currently at about 50, right? Very close to the mid Bollinger Band. Again, first support at 10,500. The support trend levels. This also, if you look at the weekly chart, is moving within a box. Look at this box movement. It's a clear 1,500 point box in which it is moving. Right? This on a day chart, does it give you anything else? No. It has just turned bearish now. The super trend has just turned bearish. So now, and the last candle was a doji candle. Expect this to actually fall to about something around this levels, which is 11,000. So a 200 or 300 point movement down can be expected. Why is it not showing me this? Anyway. So this level of a change can be expected down. The beta version of Yahoo is not really working properly. This can be your support levels expected around 11,100 can be a support level expected, which is also the support and support here. Again, on the day chart, MACD is clearly giving you a bearish crossover and going down. CCI is also at minus 152, can go down to about minus 250 also. So look out, things are looking bearish on NASDAQ. TSX, on the other hand, is now following Dow Jones. Negative crossover just given on the MACD. CCI has just curved down on the weekly chart. expected to fall. Super trend has already turned flattish. So this level of 19,500 is expected to be tested. That should act like a support on TCX. Next week, not possible, but the week later, 19,500 or TCX can be expected. On the day chart of TSX, clear super trend activity is done, though the last candle on Friday is talking about some bullishness coming back, but the super trend has turned bearish and is falling. It is not yet turned flat, right? Very clearly, this level of super trend at 19,900 will act like a support for them on the day chart. Lower support can be somewhere over here, 19,500 or 19,300. But next week, don't expect that. This Friday candle on TSX gives you some hope that possibly a reversal, a temporary reversal may be seen. May be seen. Because your MACD has still not curved up, neither has it flattened. CCI has started curving up. So we are waiting for the next candle to give you a confirmation about how TSX will move, or will it move in conjunction with Dow Jones. Look at the CCI of Dow Jones on the day chart. Look at the CCI of TSX on the day chart. TSX, the crossover on MACD, clearly not even being visualized. On the Dow Jones, also they're pretty close. So the market is now in an undecided state. But of the three indexes, TSX is looking stronger than NASDAQ and Dow Jones.
Sajib, on TSX, if we
Yeah.
look at the weekly chart, so
Yes.
when I was looking at the weekly chart, I put trend lines. If we convert it to a line chart, so you see these three curves. The last with three curves, we see the three big curves that start from July to October is the first, and then October to so these are the three curves. If we join these three lines, and then the line for the lower trend line from October till the point where we are, this looks to me like a wedge kind of a small channel, trading between
Yes.
the channel, and
Yes.
currently TSX is hitting at the bottom line, bottom trend line. So there's
Yes.
so given that if I add it up with the last candle on Friday was had a lower price rejection, the MACD histograms are reducing in size on the day chart, and on the day chart my Williams R has also shown a reversal. I think your CCI also showed that. So
Yes.
that to me gives some hope of bullishness on the TSX.
Yes. As I told you, TSX is the strongest of all the three charts. I agree to you because this is a clear wedge being formed,
Yes.
up triangle, and
Mhm.
this is a clear one which is closing the upper edge of the triangle. So you are entering into a wedge. The wedge can break either side,
Either side.
right? But currently near the lower edge of the wedge is being touched.
Correct.
This, and this is at the lower edge of the wedge, at the support edge of the wedge. If
Yes.
that breaks, it can break downward also.
Yeah.
Right? Though what you said is right, CCI Williams R is trying to give you a crossover or possibly a reversal and going up. But your
Yes, on the day
is
chart, correct.
on the day chart, but your MACD on the weekly is clearly giving you a bearish crossover. So which is why I told you markets are currently at a confused state of affairs.
Fair enough.
Right? Market is currently at the confused state of affairs. You have to give them time to come
Show a
out,
direction. Okay.
show a direction. Number one. Number two, change the candles and see if there are changes happening. I have Heikin day chart. Clear trend? Gaurav?
Yeah.
Heikin candles clearly showing you no reversals yet. Though
Yes,
on the day chart, this is clearly showing MACD is not in reverse, but CCI is trying to climb up.
right. And showing a divergence. I think Munir called that
And
out.
showing the
That's a good
divergence.
call out, Munir.
That's right. Yeah. Very true. Right? Anybody else? Any further observations? That's a good one, Gaurav. Yeah. Right? So done with the indices. Anybody else? Any questions?
So can we see them on the weekly chart as well?
Which ones?
Nasdaq and TSX. You can start with TSX.
Weekly chart I already showed it,
For Nasdaq.
Even for NASDAQ, I started with the weekly chart only and then showed you day charts.
Yeah. To go back.
This is NASDAQ weekly.
Yeah. And the support level, can you just mention again for the Nasdaq?
Support levels is something over here. I'm not able to get my pointer to give you the rates, but NASDAQ support levels are, the beta version is really making life miserable. Draw your very parallel lines. This is the support happening over here. $10,214 or 10,200 number one, or at 10,600. Right? Which is also the support trend level at 10,500 on NASDAQ, weekly support. So the trend will come down, but prior to that, look at your 20 moving average of support at 11,100. Because that 20 moving average should act like a support to bounce back from. If that breaches at 11,100, your lower support of super trend is 10,500, and then lower levels can come down. But by that time, I would expect things like your other indicators to come in play and pull out. Now, very clearly, NASDAQ, like Dow Jones and like TSX, is trading within a box range, where the box boundaries are clearly being defined. Upper boundary is at about 12,100 or 12,050 to start with in the recent box over here. This box formation over here. Let me annotate that and give it to you instead of anything else. I am not good at drawing freehand drawing. See the box formation? If this is going to fall down below this level, I'm not expecting that. Come back here and bounce back because weekly support has been taken at this level on the NASDAQ. weekly support taken at this level, which also happens to be a support and support, and support and has turned flat. That means at 10,500 on NASDAQ is expected not in the coming week, but the week thereafter, possibly yes. Or mid-March, possibly yes. But that will be the place to buy for a further uptake. Yeah, that was NASDAQ weekly chart. Dow Jones, again a box formation, but now you are at the lower box. And in Dow Jones on the weekly chart, you are closing at the lowest point of the week. You're closing at the lowest point of the week and lower, close to the lower range of the box also. So breaking this, and you're below the 200-day moving average, breaking this 31,554 is clearly seen, which is the support and support level. 31,555. Very clearly seen. It should bounce back from here. Breaking the support trend on the first attempt is very rare. It should bounce back. But if it comes currently, if it's at 32,816, and if it comes to 31,554, is about 1,300 points below, your CCI will be close to about minus 275. It will be a very strong oversold position. There will be good buying coming in around that time on the Dow Jones index. And that should rally it back and take the stock back to this box height of this level, around 34,500. So you can buy it at 31,500 or 31,700 and take it to a box height of 34,500, 34,300, wherever you want. But when you're taking a weekly chart, you will take your strike prices and expiry long. I'm talking about now, at least 2 months down or 3 months down. It will take you that much time, because look at this exhaustion, look at this piece, very clearly exhaustion at this level. Exhaustion at this level, that becomes your selling price. These levels, which is what, if you ask me, 34,200 is your selling price. Buying price, if this touches 31,000 or 31,500, I'll be a buyer here, seller at this point. If somebody wants to play this market, you can comfortably buy a put first for a target of 31,700 or 31,500 or 31,600, expiry of 3rd week of March or 4th week of March, and then after that take a call of 34,500 for mid-June. But call you will not buy now, call you will buy only in March end. You will currently think of buying a put. So it's a sell on rise because it closed at the lowest point of the week. So next week will be bearish. Because Dow Jones closed at the lowest point of the week, next week will be bearish. Check this out on an hourly chart. This is what happened on Friday. Marubazu candle down. The whole day it tried to climb up. It could not. It did not even climb. It climbed about 60% of the Marubazu. But again, it tried to hold it on. The level was held, level created in the first 1 hour of the low was held and maintained all through and through, which is why I said you are on a weekly low closing. So you saw the weekly chart, you saw the daily chart, now you're looking at the hourly chart. Hourly chart, because it maintained that low, has given you the crossover. So what do? You can expect a high of 33,185 and again sell down, because this gap between Thursday and Friday has to get closed and again fall down. Clear? Anybody has any questions? Or we are open now to pick up queries on any stocks. Anybody has any questions, please ask. Please unmute and ask. BLX and ENB. BLX will be on TSX or
TSX. Sir, I did some screening, so that's how these three came in. But I'm open to see if there are any more that came on your screener.
I haven't seen any of them so far, but yes. I think I'll have to go back from my beta version of the Yahoo to the regular version of Yahoo. All right. Last candle is clearly downfall. Now, I wonder if you can see the last candle. Clear? Support and over down, flat, and again down, but kind of a dragonfly doji. I cannot trust this yet because this happens on Friday. And my indicators are not yet talking about reversal. Though the candle is talking about a dragonfly doji, the indicators are not yet. I'm going to wait for a confirmation candle after this. This is a one-day chart. Take out the weekly chart. You see a trend. You see the super trend. You see the super trend falling. Super trend falling. Indicators all going down. Reversals not in shape. But at a very strong levels on weekly support, if you ask me. This is break. If this breaks a level of 31 or 32 is round the corner. I'll be a buyer at 32, stop loss of 29. Or buyer at 30, stop loss of 29, and then wait for a first target of this side at 41. So a buyer at 30, stop loss of 29, target of 41. That is a trend I like to take. And this is a weekly chart. So these levels of weekly levels of 31.50 and 30 should be very, very strongly held. They will not break easily. So 31.50 and 30 will be the buying levels. Stop loss 29. Target of first target, if you ask me, will be around 35, 38, and then next target 41, 42. Clear? This is already at a support level of this super trend, is already being touched on Friday. This super trend level of 34,453 has already been touched on Friday. That is why you had that dragonfly doji. If this is to break further, your next support on the super trend level will be over here at 33 and then 30, which is the candlestick support. Vivek, answers your questions?
Yes, sir.
Which is the other one you had?
I had ENB and PPL, but I think like all will follow the same trend, but like you can have a look at
No, I'll just have a quick look. ENB again on NASDAQ or on TSX?
TSX.
Yes. Clearly dragonfly falling. I mean, falling market. This is plateau. Super trend plateauing gives me a hope that this will bounce back. But the trend is clearly down. Weekly chart. Again, this low has to be maintained or cracked out. I don't like this. Something wrong with my beta version. Kamal, after this session, can you just sit with me and get me out of the beta version of Yahoo?
सर वो पेंसिल दबाएं आप ऊपर जो मिडिल में ये
ये ड्राइंग का है,
ड्रॉ का है
ये तो ड्रॉ का है
और अदरवाइज वो एम्प्टी स्पेस पे जाके देखें अगर मे बी
नहीं कर चुका मैं बहुत किया है
नहीं नीचे ये क्या है अगर आप साइड पे जाएं लाइक एम्प्टी स्पेस में जाएं और दोबारा करके देखें अगर आ रहा है
मैं दबा रहा हूँ नहीं हो रहा
अच्छा
ये मेरे को बीटा वर्जन मेरे को बहुत तंग कर रहा है मुझे मालूम है सो दिस लो ओवर हियर 48 80 or 49 is your first support low. If this breaks then this trend low here 47 this will be your support but the trend is clearly down. And again, weekly chart moving in a box. And if you look at it, the entire market is moving in a box. Right from October onwards, box movement has started off. And in the box movement, trading becomes restrictive and a lot of stop losses are hunted down. So you have to be very careful during such times. Till the market is moving in a box, your trading will get a lot of restrictive actions on it. You will move for smaller targets, smaller entries, quicker entries and quicker trades. Whenever box movement is happening in the broader market, stocks will also move in a box movement. And that can clearly be seen over here. The support and flattening has been tested 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and bounce back. Again, this will go on, test this level till this box does not break. Right? Here, the low has already been identified in October. It has not been breached. This one has breached this low of December and now going to test this low. So this low of 47, 48 will be tested shortly within a week or two. Right? The next was PPL. Vivek? Identical.
Pembina, yeah.
Identical. Indicators again negative. Weekly charts. Day charts clear, fall, flattening. So minute super trend flats and you're below the 20 moving average, very close to the Bollinger Band, and look at this chart here. The day chart is trying to give you a pullback. Why? One doji, two doji, and a hammer being formed. He's trying a pullback. When he's trying a pullback, your first target is going to be a mid Bollinger Band at 46.50, and thereafter 46.80 as the super trend level. It will try to pull you up to this level and thereafter again fall. The volumes are going up. Volumes are going up. This could entice you to come here and then sell and take it down further. But this level of 44.37 or 44 becomes a strong day support, failing which 42 or even 41.50. This has held on a last 3 days of last week. 44.40 has been held. Your last trading day gave you 44.33 and then bounced back. So 44.33, 44.40 has been held for the day on a daily support, which is also the weekly support for you. 44.30 is also the weekly support for you. Check it out here. See this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 6 weeks, 44.30 has been held. If this breaks, 41.40 is not far away, which is also 41.50, which is also a super trend support zone for you. Historical super trend support zone of all the way up to March 2022. Right? All right. Vivek answers you, or you want more analysis?
No, sir, this is fine. Like I'm just looking to, and I mean, when I screened, I got these three. Seems like a good short term. So let's see.
Yeah. Currently, the
Satish,
market is moving in a box. So yes, it will have to be short-term trades only.
So
Yes, Gaurav.
there's one thing that I noticed that, if you look at the day chart, the Thursday candle was driven by results, right? So it was a gap up opening and sort of held to
Yes.
that level, essentially
Yes.
ended up being a doji. And also, with the results, what they announced was they increased the dividend. So typically their dividend they had been paying monthly dividends of 21 cents or something. The next dividend that is due has a ex date of 14th March and is going to be 65 cents. So that could also have triggered these two green candles. Probably,
Gap up,
my
gap up.
strategy normally for such news-based candles are, I wait for 2 or 3 more candles for a trend to normalize, and then
Yes.
I sort of look at, make a decision getting into the trade or not.
I agree to what you say because the gap up is clearly seen on Thursday. Friday was a gap down, lower body tested, moved up and gave you a positive closing after a gap down. This is the day chart. A gap up on Thursday, a gap down and gave you a positive closing, but the gap got filled in by the wicks. Am I right? This was the closing here.
Yes, sir.
On Thursday, the closing was 45.22. Friday, the open was 44.90. It was a gap down opening. This was a 45.22 or 44.90, a gap down opening of 30 cents. Tested the low of 44.33, made a high of 45.33 and closed at 45.07, lower than the previous close. So which is why it was a gap down, but tried to fill the gap up and give you a green candle. But yes, you're right. This is because of the dividends being announced. So you got to wait and watch.
Yes, sir.
You have to wait and watch. Assumingly, if this high of Maru Bazu gets taken out at 45.60 or 45.70 on a closing basis, that is why I said you will expect your target at 46.30, 20 moving average, and the super trend flattening at 46.75. It will be pulling this price to this price to reject and bring it down. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Do you agree or you have a contra view?
No, sir. My strategy is simple that I wait for the influence to die down and then probably wait for a couple of candles. So yes, I would wait for that to at least overcome that Marubazu red candle to if I had to get in.
Get in, yes. And I'm very clear. If the Marubazu candle gets taken out, this will get rejected from this level. So once it touches 46.50, 46.70, I will look to sell it and bring it down. Because at this level, look at the rejection levels here. 47 is a strong rejection level for them at all, completely. The resistance is clearly seen over. So it will touch this super trend level and fall back.
Yes, sir. And it is an energy stock.
And it's an energy. So with the summer trying to enter in, the requirement will be less. SQQ.
Thank you, sir.
Most welcome, Vivek. Most welcome. SQQ is quite the contrary of NASDAQ. We were talking about NASDAQ being box movement. Look at SQQ. It is trying to reverse itself up all through and through. Number one. Number two, very clearly, crossovers, indicators indicating momentum. This super trend level is now trying on a breakout. What is aiding it? The Bollinger Bands have flattened. Upper one is flattened. The lower one is climbing. Upper one is flattened. Lower one is climbing. This Bollinger Band will now change directions. Mid Bollinger Band also flattening out. So a change of direction is expected. In case the SQQ is going to go up, NASDAQ is going to come down. Right? The only point of concern is NASDAQ falling will not be acute because it's in the box formation. Also seen in your MACD signal here. It gave you a crossover, positive crossover here, bullish crossover here. But by the time it comes in over here, it is losing its momentum. A large number of time has already been spent in reaching the zero line. So there's a high probability this could come and fall down and lead to the box movement in NASDAQ. So SQQ is very clear. At this point here, I would expect this to get tested to reverse, fall back at 33 or 33.50 to then take it uptrend. Or it could go sideways. If this breaks the level of 40 or 41 closing basis, then your target is 48. First target will be 44. Second target is 48 clearly. Then 49.50 and then 52. So in case of SQQ moves above the current trend of 41 on a closing basis or 41.50 on a closing basis, first target will be at around 46.50, second target 48.49, and then 52. Right? Sunita, I hope that answers. When you take a trade, Sunita, very clearly. In case if SQQ breaks 41 or 40.50 on a conclusive basis. Ideally, if it crosses 41.50 on a closing basis, you can enter a trade with a stop loss of 40.50. So $1 stop loss, you can clearly enter after it breaks out on the positive direction above 41.50. Because this is a resistance over here, which the super trend is following it, as well as the MACD is now getting exhausted. The candles are being formed, volume is coming in, but your movement is not coming in. So I will be very careful if and only if 41.50 gets broken out on a closing and a convincing basis, then my upper target is at, first target is at 46.50, second target 48.25, third target 49.25, fourth target 52.25. And each time your targets are being achieved, if you are not selling, please trail your stop losses on the way up so that your profits get secured. Your losses are definitely going to be avoided. So start trailing your stop losses, number one. Number two, in this case, if you're taking a trade in options, if you're buying a call of SQQ, please trade long expiry calls. Don't expect them to be achieved in 2 days or 3 days. Expect them to be achieved in about 2 or 3 weeks. So you're doing a day chart. That means at least 10 to 15 candles. 15 candles is at least 3 weeks of charting. 3 weeks of 1 day candles will give me my targets, first target, second target, third target. So take a long expiry call on SQQ. Once SQQ spot crosses 41.50 on a closing basis alone, not intraday, closing basis. Right? Does that answer you, Sunita? All right. Rahul has asked for Dash and Meta. Let's complete Dash first. Rahul, this is definitely a falling market on a day chart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The week started at 69. The week is closing on a Graves or on a Dragonfly Doji on Friday. But all the 5 days, lower highs and lower lows. So the trend is clearly down. Super trend has turned bearish and is acutely pointing down. No chances of reversal. MACD clearly bearish crossover. CCI at minus 132 is still slanting down. You are losing your power in volumes. Huge volume sell on Monday and volume is now deteriorating. Clearly, even with the Dragonfly Doji here, I am expecting targets below 46 or around 46. This Dragonfly Doji has only come in because of exhaustive selling in the entire week. Look at the weekly candle and you will realize it will be a kind of a Marubazu straight fall. What do you expect? You are expecting 46.50 here. or 43, 42.50. Now, weekly chart, look at this trend. Where are you falling from? October 2022, you are falling almost flat. Look at the way you are falling. You fall, you flatten, you fall, you flatten, you fall, you flatten. Your super trend has clearly acted like a strong resistance of 67, 68 or 70. That is over here, 70.13. That's over here, 65.69. These are weekly highs. 65.35, 65.69, 62, 64, 65.5. Last week or a week before that, 70.13, and it fell down. This week, high is 60.86. So your 67, 68 high is definitely marked out. Your low is somewhere over here, 46 or lower at 42, 43. The weekly trend, clearly box movement. When to buy it at around 46, 45 or at around 42, 43. Target 67, 65, 67. Right? Weekly charts also losing out momentum, going down. CCI turned bearish and MACD is anyway very flattish and not trading up. It answers you, or you want further queries on this, Rahul?
So that helps. Thanks.
Thank you. Welcome. Meta. Weekly chart clearly moving up, touching the upper Bollinger Band. But this is interesting. 3 weeks of price movement within the 1 week candle chart. You have not been able to break 50% of this rise. It indicates some strength. Your Bollinger Bands are expanding. Your positive crossover is done. CCI is still, though it had dipped because of the 3 week negative movement, but it is still positive. This gives me a hope that this monthly low is being maintained. This is a week starting from 29th of January. So monthly low is being maintained and continued now. This gives me that hope that this has not been able to break this Marubazu candle. Right? Now, check this on a day chart. Do you really see this? Narrowing of the Bollinger Band, squeeze, ballooning, squeeze, balloon, and again balloon. The price has just fallen below the 20 moving average, but the super trend will give it a bounce back. It has been brought back to the super trend levels, can go back again up and almost consolidating for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2 weeks. 2 weeks of trading. That gap up, I think, was because of the results on Meta, if I'm not mistaken. And the gap, they have tried to fill the gap, not yet filled in. The gap they have tried to fill, they have not yet been able to fill in. And the super trend will prevent that from happening. After the gap is coming down, bearish signal, but still above the zero line. If it turns and goes up, this will be a boomerang stock later on. If MACD turns and crosses above the zero line. We have discussed MACD during our sessions of training. If MACD crossover is above the zero line, this will be a beautiful spike run, dream run for Meta. It will just spike out. It will be a rocket run. Right? Somebody wants to trade this very clearly. You can buy it at this levels, stop loss, the gap filling. If the gap gets filled in, it's going to come down. It will come down if the gap gets filled. So that is your stop loss. So 147 is your stop loss, which is far away. Or you could take 164 as your stop loss, which is a super trend level. So you're buying at 170, 164 stop loss, targets are straight 199, 198 and above. So $6 stop loss with a $20, $25 target can be on the cards. 1:4. Right? But I would wait for confirmation to come. Because the price is below the 20 moving average, I will wait for the price to go above the 20 moving average to give me more strength. I don't mind entering the price late, but it will give me more strength thereafter. And as Gaurav was speaking about 10 minutes earlier, the news had come in, which is why the price gave you a gap up. The news came in, gap up, consolidate and wait for the price to give you a clear direction to enter this trade. Clear? All right, which is the next one? We did Meta, we did Dash. Devendra says ATD TO. Yes, we will just check it out. Anything which I missed out? All right. Devin, lovely stock if you ask me.
I'm sorry, sir.
Almost at its lifetime high,
Yes.
right? Now,
Yep.
advantage and the pickup of the advantage. You had 1, 2, and 3 green candles. 2 of them were as good as Maru Bazus. The second last was definitely a Maru Bazu. The week tried to test but did not break 50% on the Maru Bazu candle. Strength in the trade. MACD crossover, look at the crossover. Positive crossover above the zero line. Above the zero line. It gives you further strength of moving up. It gives you a further strength of moving up. Look at these super trend levels. Each time flattens, rises, flattens, rises, flattens, rises, rises, and again trying to flat to rise further. Look at your mid-Bollinger Band level, the mustard colored line. Is it flattening or is it rising? It's a rising line. So 20 moving average. The trend, the mid-Bollinger is the 20 moving average. The trend is still rising. How will I trade this? I can comfortably trade this, keeping my mid-Bollinger levels as my support or as my stop loss. Take a trade and trail your stop losses. And Devin, don't ask me to give you a target because you are at an all-time high. Use FIBO levels if you want. Otherwise, since we haven't discussed FIBO levels together, all I'll say is enter a trade, keeping the previous week low as a stop loss and trail your targets. In this case, this low is 62.28. So your target low is 62.25. Stop loss is 62.25 or 62 and move in your trade. As you go up, keep upgrading your stop losses as you progress higher. Yeah. Have I missed any
The daily chart
Yes.
देखना है एक बार इसका.
Hanji? A
Daily-
daily chart. So sorry.
Yeah.
So sorry. I was happy with the week chart. I said day chart is only 50.
Do you still expect the support around the जो super 8? Sorry, super trend.
Super trend levels are very clear. 62.23. What chart I gave you,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So even if it touches, it'll bounce back. And that is exactly the mid Bollinger level of the Bollinger Bands. And in the day chart, watch this very carefully. The lower Bollinger Band is turning flat and trying to curve up. The mid is already curved up, upper is curving up. So if the upper is ballooning with the mid going in the upward direction, the lower has to move in the same direction to take the trend up. The last day candle is also very important. What is it? A kind of a hammer, a kind of a dragonfly doji, whatever you call it. It is downward price rejection happening over here. It will go up. Now, if you want to take this trade, Devin, at this point, low on Friday is your stop loss less 25 cents.
Sounds good, sir. Actually, I was looking at this this particular stock for accumulation over a long time, so that I can keep it for a while. I really like the company itself, so that's what I was looking in. You know, it's kind of defensive and offensive, both kind of stocks. So, so it goes both ways. So that's why I was looking at it. So my perspective was more on a long-term basis instead of a trading basis.
Long-term basis, then you got to wait for a correction.
Yeah.
In case the correction comes in.
Okay.
Or you keep buying on dips whenever you can, because now your MACD on day chart is talking about a correction happening.
Okay.
MACD is talking about a correction happening.
Mm-hmm.
And in the MACD day chart, histograms have turned negative.
Okay.
You see the red histogram coming down?
Yes.
Below the zero line, it is turning negative. CCI has come down to 35. That means it can go down to 0 or minus figure. If that happens, your 20 moving average will first act as a day support, failing which this lower portion will act as a first support for you. Now this support, if you look at it,
It's very strong.
support here, same support here, same support here.
Yeah, very strong sword.
Right? Now this was the support in November. This was the support in December, Jan. This was the support in Jan, Feb.
Yes.
So it is not only acting like your day support, it's acting like a weekly and monthly support.
Yeah. Yes.
So buying price somewhere over here around 58, 59.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
That will be a good place to buy.
Sounds good. Thank you, sir.
Right?
Yeah.
Have I missed any more stocks for analysis?
No, I don't think
Have
so.
you covered everybody?
I have a request
Bolo, sir.
for TXBA. It's the Toronto Banking Index.
X.
TX
or
XXXBA. B for Bombay, A for Alpha. Yes. So this is essentially the banking index for Toronto. So, most of the banks on the Toronto Exchange would sort of align to this. So I shared my analysis earlier in the
I know.
group, and
Seen that.
there would be some leading, some lagging, but yeah, they're mostly aligned to this.
All right. What do you think? I've just showed you the chart. What is happening?
Right. So let me pull up my chart as well. It's easy for me to speak on my chart. So right. So sir, on this one, the last day candle.
Watching day or weekly chart?
Sir, I'm
You're
looking at
watching
the day chart. Day chart.
Day chart. All right.
So
Yeah.
the last
day
day
candle.
has almost engulfed, maybe missed it slightly the previous candle, and it has also closed comfortably above the 34 EMA. So indicating of a reversal of the three red candles that were there previously. The MACD, if I talk about it, the MACD line has started flattening, and the last histogram has also started reductions. The Williams R has reversed, and the my trend indicator, which I use, which is the RS, the relative strength, not RSI, is also greater than 0, which means this is running faster than the Toronto index, and when it's falling slower than the index. So that's what gives me some comfort. The other thing is, like we saw those trend lines on one of the previous charts, this also has a similar trend. No, that was a historical trend. Sorry, please ignore that comment.
Historical trend.
Yeah, that was a previous one. Sorry, I have all my trends on my screen. So, essentially, this gives me a bullish kind of a feel on this one. If it continues to stay above this previous red candle opening.
Yeah. Yes. Go ahead.
Yep, sir. So that's essentially it. So essentially, basis this, I am bullish on the Toronto banking stocks, and then I would, getting this outlook, I would, look at the laggards and the leaders on the banks to from a the position perspective.
All right. Two things. I will agree to what you said. MACD line is trying to curve up and close, and histograms are reducing in size, coming closer to the 0 line. So there is a reversal which MACD is trying to do because of this last Marubazu day candle. Number one. Number two observation, super trend had turned bearish, but it turned flattish immediately.
Correct.
It did not give you the negative fall that is going to fall fast. It turned flattish immediately. Why is that turning flattish? Because TSX on the whole is again in a box range. And banking will be the one to reverse first on the stock. Banks will be the fastest to reverse out, which is why this Marubazu was seen. So you had 3 days of falling, but the Marubazu candle is covering that up. Now, what do you expect further? Price to go up? This on Tuesday, Wednesday, gap has to get filled in, and thereafter, this price will touch 42.23.
Right.
Or 42.25. And thereafter, it will go up. Right? Watch this on the weekly chart. Are you in a box?
Yes.
If you are in a box, this is your resistance line. 41.42, which you're already at this price, or at 41 75 over here. And yes.
Right. So it essentially becomes a support.
It becomes a resistance over here to cross. I refused. This becomes your resistance to cross. 42 to 60.
Oh, okay. So, there.
Right? 42 60 or 42 61 becomes the resistance to cross. If this crosses, the targets are clearly upside. That's over here. 42 82
Mhm.
or even higher. 40 46 or 45 50 is the first target thereafter. This line.
Right, sir.
Once this crosses, which on the weekly trend is still bullishly on the super trend. The weekly trend has not yet changed. Look at the MACD, it's trying, CCI trying, but the trend is still climbing. Climbing till this level is not touched upon. I have to get this Yahoo beta knocked off. Anyway, you get this idea,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yeah.
All right.
Sir, I have shared 3 stocks from my screener as Vivek Krishna was.
ERF, ARX, and TOU. ERF is Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto. And with TOU in 2020, we had made good money. They have,
Yes.
TOU I have been tracking as well. So TOU with it has results coming up next week, I guess.
I like TOU.
Is that what tourmaline?
ERF
Yeah.
or NR Plus weekly chart, Marubazu, green candle, reversal tried, but does not cross 30% on the Marubazu candle. Still weak. Trend is still down. Though this support line of 19 will be tried to test it. 1920 or 1915 will be tested shortly. MACD, you see the crossover, clear downtrend. No chance of even attempt to reverse. CCI clearly down. So look around. This is again, I think, an energy stock, if I'm not mistaken.
That's would have to check. So I checked on the daily chart. It appears to have reversed.
Yeah, the daily chart will give you because it's giving you the Marubazu. But look at the weekly chart, Marubazu. It is not even on the day chart. All right, even on the day chart, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It could not cross the gap down opening on the Marubazu for this week.
Yeah, that gap down could be a opportunity as the
Yes, that gap down could be an opportunity to be filled in. But after that,
it's a small upside.
it's a small upside, and that is the target is again 22. 22, 50 is the target because that is the gap top and that is also the 20 moving average. It will go up to 20 moving average and hit your super trend at this level at 23 and come back again down. Look at this level, look at this level, look at this level. Lower lows. Look at the upper cap. Very clearly upper is capped. So the upper is clearly capped. Your lows are falling. and current low is being tested over here. So October lows are now acting like a support. And there again, there are gap ups in the movement here in October. You see the gap ups here? Let me expand that for you. There are gap ups here. This will have to be tested. This gap is waiting to get filled. 1960 and 2035 is waiting to get filled. Where are you currently? You're currently at 2183. And this gap is waiting to get filled. Yeah. Which is the next one, Kamal?
ARX.
Come again, spelling ARX. Something similar. The weekly chart is talking about a reversal, but again, how much will it reverse is yet to be seen. MACD is trying to reverse, but how much, I don't know. And super trend is clearly falling, not flattening yet. Weekly chart. Day chart, as you have mentioned, last 3 days, 3 white soldiers, it's trying to touch. It's already gone up to the mid Bollinger Band, 1585, super trend, exhaustion, and can come back down.
So day chart, if you look, the last 3 curves that you see, which start somewhere around December, that's also kind of a channel movement, and this to me looks like very close to top of the channel. So it will have to breach the channel to give a breakout, or it will reverse.
Yes, this channel movement is like this here. I hope I can draw the channel here. I don't know, but because I am finding it difficult to draw channels. This channel is like this,
Yes.
and it's at the top of the channel. You're right. So let's wait for a breakout, though I don't know. I'm not very confident yet. Because it again is coming into products which are, it has it's a resource companies, or I think it's again an energy company, if I'm not mistaken. It's a mining company. Because this should be tested and should come down. It's giving you a higher high, a lower low, sorry, a lower high and a lower low trend clearly. So it has to give you a clean breakout before the next trend can actually take off.
This is to give good profits.
This
When it
is
has crashed. This is energy stock, energy oil product.
this is a better reversal chart if you ask me. Because the day has clearly given you a MACD crossover is on the verge of it, and CCI has given you a clean cut reversal. And the candle on the day chart is very strong. This is a stronger chart than the previous chart. But the same trend, if you look at it, is in the downtrend, but looking to break. Again, volumes are low, but steadily looking to break. Again, if this breaks open at 62 and above, then your target is 64.50 in plus.
So Rishma, I think the only question that I have is it has to break mid Bollinger.
Yes. That is why I said if it breaks this super, if it breaks 62, clearly, only then will I look for a higher target.
Right.
At 62, it will take care of these two Marubazu candles. And once the Marubazus are taken off, then it will look for a higher target.
Right.
Which,
And sir, again,
because of MACD is giving me confidence.
Right. Me. And sir, isme also there is isme bhi this follows an upper trend line on the day chart for December 1, January 18th, and 16th Feb. So this is again essentially a resistance. So the last green candle is probably a few points away from that, but it has to break that, and that would end up being close to mid Bollinger. But yeah, that has to be broken to continue the uptrend.
Yeah. So you are expecting this price to go up to 62, closing basis above 62, convincingly closed above 62, then you can look for a higher target and go up. Then targets are clearly 70 and above. First target will be 70 thereafter. So if 62 gets crossed, you can look at this target of 65 and then 70 targets.
And it gives dividends 1.6.
Yeah, that of course. It's a dividend paying company, so it will give you the monthly dividends across. If nothing else, at least you will get the dividend earnings.
Right. So this gives a dividend of typically 25 cents. But in January, they gave a bonus dividend of $2.
So then you can't expect a similar dividend immediately now.
Correct. And they have earnings coming up. So I think they have earnings on close to 7th or 9th of March. Yeah, 7th of March on Tuesday. So that's a word of caution.
7th of March on Tuesday is 1st of, all right, 10th of January is around this thing. They must have taken it over here. So next just before earnings, it gives you a spike up. It gave you that in January. It's giving that to you now in end of February, before earnings. All right. Anybody else? Anything else required?
So I had one more. It was HXT. So this is going to be pretty much similar to TSX. HXT.
This one? Horizons or D?
Yes.
Or you beta?
No, HXT.to.
Yeah, tell me.
So essentially, the same, just like we saw on TSX, this is following those two trend lines at the top and the bottom. So the last green candle, which is the big Marubazu, is at the bottom of that trend line. So, and it's a converging wedge. So if it gives us, this makes me bullish. And if it gives me, like, the MACD also has the reducing histograms. And
Yes.
so this one, I expect a reversal to go to the upper side, given there's strength in TSX as we discussed. So it's probably a replica of TSX, slightly deviant.
Yeah. So you can expect a $2 run from here or a $1.50 run from here. Currently at 49.90. Expect anything up to 51.30, 51.50, which is the resistance level seen over here.
Right. Yes. My targets on this one are 51.2 and 53.3, which is the all-time high, and
Yeah.
stop loss at 49.
49 stop loss. All right. Yeah. Done. Not really bad. That'll be good. Yes, that's a good trade.
Thank you, sir.
That's a good trade.
That's it from me, sir.
That's
Yeah,
a good
yes.
trade.
Sir,
Yes, Vivek.
sir, I was watching TOU, sir. Sir, it is currently sitting. I feel like it's, I mean, what just I put into my charts, and I feel like it's currently on that 100 EMA support. And all trends are looking downward on a weekly chart for me, sir. So if it breaks, like, it's gonna be a good fall for it.
All right. Because I was very clear, if this breaks above the support trend of 62, only then I'm going to buy it. Otherwise, it's a falling market.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's very clearly from December, it is, and that is what even Gaurav said.
Mhm.
It's a falling trend. The channel is falling, and you are actually at the upper end of the channel, at the resistance level, which is why it should break 62 conclusively because of these candles, Marubazu candles, and you're touching the mid Bollinger Band is when we said possibly if it breaks 62 conclusively on closing basis, then look for a higher target. But as you just said,
this week is critical for it, I think.
it will be critical. It will be critical. One second, let me just.
Yes, sir. I think what Vivek is mentioning is on the weekly chart.
Yeah.
Yeah, still in weekly chart.
Right. On the weekly chart, it took the last candle has a long wick at the bottom, so lower price rejection, which
Yeah.
interestingly, like Vivek mentioned, happened at the 100 SMA.
EMA.
So, okay, yeah, I see it for the SMA also. So,
Okay.
so it just reverse. I mean, it touched that SMA and had a long wick upwards. So it's taken support from that and sort of bounced back. But I think it still has to prove its way up because William
Yeah,
R has
exactly.
a clear
I would wait
reversal, but it's yes.
Yeah, I'd wait this week, and if it reverses, then yes, great. You can all go all the way to whatever ups you want. But all these EMAs are downwards. So let's see.
Exactly. Now look at the EMAs of that I've just drawn. I've drawn you have a 20, I have a 34, I have a 100. Right? Now, this is the weekly chart for you. Clearly going down. Let me zoom in. This is the 100 moving average, simple moving average. The wick is there, touching the lower Bollinger Band and trying to move up. But now, 34 is above 20. So your moving averages have exchanged the position of levels. So expect downward movement. Yes, you can. Why did we say we can expect a upward movement? only because of the last candle. In this case, the last candle, which is a weekly candle, hasn't yet closed above the previous week high. So in case of previous week high is 63.70. What is the price we gave you? 62.50 closing above. 62 closing above. It becomes a trend reversal for you here. Lower Bollinger Bands touched for a long time. Now sideways or upward movement can be expected in case if that day chart continues. But the weekly chart is still talking about it differently. Here also, the yellow line, the blue line is now 34 moving average. You are at the mid Bollinger, your 100 moving average is above. So you are in a weak position, a bearish trend. But if this breaks out at super trend level, then you will see a growth. Not before that. Which is why that 62 figure was 62, 62.50 in this case clearly shown. If this breaks out, only then, unless it doesn't break out. If it doesn't break out, this will just fall further down. That is exactly what Vivek is talking about. That is exactly what even Gaurav was talking about. That this is the trend line. You are at the resistance line on this channel. If this breaks out, then there's a breakout. Otherwise, the law of the channel is clearly it will fall down and come to the support level, which means it will go further down. Right? Number one. Number two, look at this level over here. You are at the annual support zone now. There is nothing in between. You are now at the annual support zone. This level has only been touched somewhere over here, which was April 22. Right? So the trend is definitely down, but we have to watch out how we can trade on it. So this is the trend here. 55. Support zone. And on the day chart at 55, it should touch the lower line of this trend and take it up. But let's see. As compared to the other ones, this last two candles gave me the hope that possibly 62 can get hit and taken out. Possibly. But again, there's a possibility. You can always trade keeping the low in mind, low of 56 or 55 as a stop loss and trade it up. The low for the week is 56.37 and 56 over here, which happened on 22nd of this month. So 56 low, 55.50 is the stop loss. You can take a trade. If 62 gets broken conclusively on the upper side, then you will take it at 55.50 as a stop loss. Otherwise, no, it's a bearish trend trade. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else? Any questions?
So, any more questions from anyone?
No comment. But
Great. Thank you, Vivek sir. Thank you everyone for joining. and wish you good luck for the coming week. We'll connect again next week.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
everyone.
Thank
Have a
you.
nice weekend and a profitable trading week for next week.